all well, yes sir.
अब मैं ये भी नहीं कह सकती कि तालियों के साथ उनका स्वागत किया जाए, पर मैं तालियों के साथ स्वागत कर रही हूँ।
नहीं, मित्तल सर का स्वागत करिए मैम।
हाँ, राइट।
आप दोनों मेरे गुरुजी है, गुरुजियों का स्वागत होना जरूरी है मैम।
No. The time comes when the reversal of roles happen. So that's what's happening now. So anyway, let's come to the business. It is indeed a great pleasure and honor for the National Trust for the Handicapped, which is an NGO, to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Himanshu Das, for having joined us for this webinar titled Involvement of Human Resource in Disability Rehabilitation. You know, when I started my journey, my career in 1985, what was the human resource then and what was the requirement of human resource then and how it has changed over the years now. That's the topic for today. We are also joined by Professor Mittal, who is our guest of honor for today's webinar. I welcome you also, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
For having agreed to our request and taken out your time for this webinar. I'm so happy and I'm so proud. Now, before we begin this webinar, I think I would like to share the journey of Professor Banadia, Professor Das. You know, I can say that because, it's my pride to say that I was working with NIMH, which is now NIPID now. And when I was working there, Dr. Himanshu Das was the student of NIMH. So seeing our student coming to this level, at the highest level, the national level, brings a great, pride to all of us. So, and thank you, sir. And I feel so good. And I get so much of inspiration for Himanshu. The other day I was just thinking, the first day when Himanshu ji came to me, and now Himanshu is at a maker stage, like he's responsible to take the special education forward. So I'm so happy, and I'm sure all of us are very happy and delighted, not only to have Dr. Himanshu as director, but also, and Professor Mittal, whose biodata I will share with you in a while. Not here as, as professor or holding great position, but also as a great professional stalwarts in the country in disability rehabilitation, and we will have lots to learn from them. And who can be a better person than these two stalwarts who can tell us the journey of human resource? What were the things we used to see in a person when we started this field? When it used to be considered a field of charity, and now when it is considered a field of rights. So, considering with little bit of this introduction, I would now give you the formal introduction about Dr. Himanshu Das. Dr. Himanshu Das is, at presently he is the director of National Institute for the Empowerment of Persons with Visual Disabilities, Dehradun. He was earlier director of National Institute for the Empowerment of Persons with Multiple Disabilities, Chennai, and also director in charge of National Institute for the Empowerment of Persons with Intellectual Disabilities, Secunderabad, under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India. I think, sir, there's only one national institute, maybe two are left, where you still have to be the director of those institutes. So, sir has already been the director of 3 national institutes. So, and after that, I will just, he's responsible for many things. If I want to list, if I really tell you his CV, it will take a very long time. So, just few words about him. He is responsible for bringing NIPMED and NIPID at the center stage of rehabilitation services for persons with disabilities, and has been instrumental in establishing composite regional centers, CRCs, for persons with disabilities in 6 states. namely Kerala, UP, Sikkim, Andaman Nicobar Islands, Meghalaya, and Maharashtra, where there was nothing before. I mean, even if there was something, but not up to the level. He was a visiting faculty at Rompton. He's an international speaker as well. He's not only a national speaker, he's also known internationally very well. He was a visiting faculty at Rompton University, London, UK, and Charles University, Prague, Czechoslovakia Republic. He has visited extensively across Europe also. He brings with him over 23 years of extensive experience in the field of disability rehabilitation, from clinical, administrative, policy level experience, research experience, and academic perspectives. He plays a significant role for various committees of RCI, Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, in the area of curriculum development, various schemes and policy making, research, etc. He has comprehensive proficiency at government as well as non-government level, at also grassroots level and higher level of management for both academic as well as service delivery aspects of disability rehabilitation. Dr. Das is passionately, involved for the empowerment, inclusion, quality of life, and empathetic services for individuals with special needs. We couldn't have got a better person to talk on the subject which we are just talking about today, as he has been actively involved in the curriculum development for various human resource development. With this, I hand over the mic and the speaker to Dr. Himanshu. Thank you, sir. Sir, you are not audible. Is sir audible?
No.
No, sir, you are not audible. Kanika?
Ma'am, 1 second, ma'am.
I thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Now it's okay.
Now I have two mentors sitting here, two of my very, very old-time teachers. It's very difficult to be presenting something in front of your mentors and teachers. Professor Mittal Saab and Usha Grover Madam have been my personal guides for a very, very long time now, almost over 2 decades now. However, whatever I have learned, it is because of all these mentors only. And thank you, government, for giving such a long introduction about evolution of myself rather than the topic that we are talking about. This topic is of very, very importance, ma'am, as far as our country is concerned. I had traveled around about 7 to 8 countries of the world and is in touch with many other countries. Every country globally had developed their own indigenous courses or human resource requirements as per the need of the country. It is not a very good scenario in India when you talk about development of courses or evolution of courses, because when you divide the courses, the human resource parameters in our country into 2 domains, one is so-called adapted or so-called traditional courses being run globally, vis-a-vis the courses that India developed for its needy population and tried to adapt indigenous needs into those courses. If you see the traditional courses that are with RCI, for example, the speech therapy course, ESLP course, or say the clinical psychology course, or say the rehab psychology course, or for that matter, many of the courses even pertaining to the special education categories of B.Ed or B.Ed, or many of those courses, most of the courses you will be today seeing are not indigenously developed courses for the country. They are basically courses which are globally very, very popular. In the same line, you can think as bachelors of occupational therapy or bachelors of physiotherapy, though they are not under the Rehabilitation Council of India. But when you talk of human resource in the special needs sector, I would like to club them as well. The MSWs, the occupational therapists, the physiotherapists, though they are not in our council, can be part of the human resource in our country. The nursing population is working with us. Similarly, you have special educators, speech therapists, and a lot of professionals working with us. But by and large, these kind of courses had been evolving, and the force of evolution is not traditionally rooted to our country. Now, if you look at the Indian system, over the last 30 years, different NGOs, national institutes, and the Rehabilitation Council of India had been trying, experimenting, and coming up with a lot of courses. Those I'll classify them as indigenous courses for the country. Having to say that, the fate or the status of these indigenous courses are not very good in the country. So for example, I did a course from NIMH Secunderabad, now known as NIPID, bachelor's degree course in mental retardation. It didn't survive. It was then transformed to bachelor's in rehabilitation science. Still, it didn't survive. Then it was transformed to bachelor's in rehabilitation therapy. Still, it didn't survive. This is just an example. We have got a host of such examples. Part. We wanted diploma in early intervention special education, and we wanted a PG diploma in early education. Then we wanted a PG in early intervention therapy. Then we wanted a full master's degree in early intervention. But those didn't survive somehow. Similarly, we wanted course for disability management in our country. So NIMH went on to start a master's degree in disability management and administration. That also did not do so well. Similarly, the National Institute for Visually Handicapped, NIBHED Dehradun, also came up with courses in orientation and mobility science and integrated courses of BA, B.Ed, BSc, B.Ed. Likewise, if you see the whole of the country, all those experimental courses which indigenously the country wanted to start, the fate of those courses today are not fine. A few of the courses in the same line are still under evolution. For example, last 2 years, RCI is working on development and promotion of a course with the help of the Melbourne University, that community-based inclusive development course. Again, I always have this same fear. Like all other courses, this course also, we don't know what is going to be the future of this course. So now to say how should we be proceeding? Now there is only one question that is anywhere across the world. The government changes its recruitment rules, changes its schemes in terms of human resource absorption with regard to development of courses in that state or in that country. In India, it doesn't happen parallelly. We keep on developing courses, we keep on running courses, but the schemes and the projects of different states doesn't change accordingly. As a result, absorption of those people doesn't happen in those schemes and those places, those positions. All those old traditional courses keeps getting advertising across different states and the central government, and because of those new courses do suffer. Second problem that I see is revision of courses. In any good country, there is a system of revision of courses, say every 2 years, every 3 years, every 5 years. I think in India, that is one component which we need to focus on in terms of evolution of courses, that we really do not lay much emphasis on revision of courses. Sometimes we do, sometimes we do not. But as such, we do not have a strategic policy to revive or revise the courses that we need. However, I am very proud to share, in many countries, there are not many very specific courses like India do. Sometimes we need to be proud of our country. For example, if I talk about the D.Ed, B.Ed, and M.Ed in autism, a 2 years program for diploma, B.Ed, and a master's level in autism is something, a rare kind of a courses which many countries cannot boast of. Similarly, when you talk of D.Ed, B.Ed, and M.Ed in multiple disability, many countries in the world cannot boast of such courses. An exclusive course for deafblind in the country, is a matter of great pride. At the same time, last year when we sat in the RCI and analyzed the absorption capacity, the seats being allotted to all these organizations, those who are running these courses, somewhere we are not very happy. And because of non-intake in different courses, RCI had to finally decide on merging of many of the courses. So ID courses are to be now merged with, say, autism, or autism courses are now to be merged with, say, SLD courses. So we are not able to really streamline methodically and really try on a grassroots level as to which are the indigenous courses that will be fruitful to serve the human resource need of the country. Because when you talk to NGO sector, when you talk to parents, we do really understand that there is great deal of human resource, not only in terms of the quantity, but also in terms of quality and also in terms of variety. Now in India, if you see in totality in terms of number of persons with disabilities, in all these three parameters, we don't stand anywhere. First parameter in terms of quantity ratio, second is in terms of the quality of the human resource, and also in third in terms of the variety of human resources. We have very less person who could actually boost off programs like sports therapy for persons with disabilities, dance therapy, music therapy, theater therapy, movement therapy. So many options are there to be exploring with regard to human resources, but I don't know the state level convergence and the central level convergence. The producer of human resource is primarily the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. But the consumer is multifold. The consumer, primarily we expect the consumer to be sometime the Education Ministry, sometime the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, some other state level organizations. So there is very less kind of a conversion amongst the consumer and the producer in the human resources. So it is high time that with this at national and level, and all of us under the form of cross disability, under the forum of inclusive education, under the forum of employability for all, under the forum of skilling for all, only then I think perhaps we would be able to find a new way out of evolution of human resources in the country. However, when you talk of number of teacher training education in the country, then definitely we have evolved a lot. If you see the journey in last 20 years, India is a country which is having the largest number of human resource developing institution in the whole world. Now the number which is growing. How do you ensure master trainers? How do you ensure quality teaching? How do you ensure quality control in those institutions is a matter of concern. RCI, after coming up with the National Board of Examination in Rehabilitation, has been focusing on the quality improvement in this sector. However, that is only for the diploma and the certificate level. When you talk of the bachelor's level programs and the master level programs of RCI, there is although we talk of standardization, RCI is meant for standardization, but when you go to university levels, you find there is cost of difference in the curriculum transaction, in the way the examinations are being taken, or the norms and the guidelines of different universities. In a nutshell, I'd like to put up, it is high time that all of us start discussing on this issue on a very serious note in reference to the Rights of Persons with Disability Act and also UNCRPD, and further in reference to the Education Act that is coming up very shortly. So there needs to be a very high level deliberations with a lot of sort of inputs from the stakeholders, parents or persons with disabilities from all the 21 disabilities that we talk about, and revisit this particular topic of human resource need for the country. With this note, I'd like to, ma'am, thank you all for giving me the opportunity, ma'am. I look forward to answer any questions or queries that will come up. I'd better prefer listening to Mittal sir or you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Das. I'm so happy for giving us the insight and giving us some food to think. You know, you very rightly said that we need to revisit this issue again. Having everyone, all stakeholders together, convergence is required. Thank you very much. Sir, would you be with us? Shall we take questions now?
Yes.
We take questions later. I think you'll be busy and would like to go. Audio is missing. Kanika?
I'll be here. I'll be there. I'll be there, ma'am. No issues. I'll be there. I'll switch off my video and audio, but I'm here, ma'am.
Acha, you here. So shall we take question later? And first we
Yes,
speak
ma'am.
Professor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Oh.
Now we are coming to our second resource person and our guest of honor, Professor Mittal, sir. Now, before sir begins his talk, let me just give a brief profile of Dr. Mittal. I mean, if I talk about his journey, it will be too long. But just to give you a profile, brief profile about Professor Mittal. Professor Mittal is a pioneer in the field of visual disability rehabilitation. He holds diploma degree, BA degree, MA degree, MA degree, PhD degree, all the degrees, but all you can think of in the field of disability rehabilitation. He worked as a teacher and then as a lecturer at NIVH, which is now NIPVIT now, Dehradun. He then worked as a professor in special education at Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. So sir is, he, like we say, from bottom to top. It's not a top-down administration. Sir has gone from bottom to top. Like he was a teacher and then he came to this level at a national level. So he then worked as a professor, that I've told you already, in Jamia Millia Islamia. In his tenure, he guided in numerous researches of MA and PhD special education. He attended a training program and also observation classes and courses from Moria House College, Edinburgh, Scotland. To his name, he has many publications which have been instrumental in the area of research and training in the field of disability rehabilitation. He has conducted and attended various training programs, national and international conferences across the globe. He recently chaired a session with the title Advocacy Tools for Inclusion, which we would also be very happy to know about in this webinar, the gist of the same. I'm sorry. At the international conference held at Kathmandu, Nepal in February 2020, and conducted a training session on the use of abacus in Jakarta, Indonesia. His contribution and dedication has won him the President's Award for the Best Employee in 2002 and also Rajiv Gandhi National Award for significant contributions in the field of special education. Sir is presently rendering his services and expertise as an adjunct professor at NIPVIT, which is National Institute for the Visual Disabilities. Nobody leaves people like him, to sitting at home. Everyone needs people like him to come and work as long as he can. Thank you, sir. With this little brief introduction, I now give the mic to Professor Mittal.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, madam, for this very, very long introduction. For the audience, I would like to tell that whatever madam has told about me, please forget. Whatever little I have done as per my experience that I have, being a blind person now for the last 64 years. And what I learned being a blind person, I tried to share with my students all these years. Now, I will begin by expressing my sincere thanks and gratitude to National Trust for Handicapped, New Delhi, Dr. Usha Grover, for inviting me to be a speaker in this webinar. I am also thankful Dr. Himanshu Das, the director NIPVIT Dehradun, who is here with us, whom you have heard, and now you will listen to me. Friends, many things which I was planning or thinking to say, Dr. Himanshu has already mentioned. I will not touch them. Still, at places where I will feel necessary, I might say something about that as well. Friends, I will concentrate more on the human resource development or evolution of human resource development programs in the area of the education, training, and rehabilitation of persons with visual impairment. Because as Dr. Grover has already told you, that my area has been the education of the visually impaired. In this context, I would like to take you to 1950s, when I was told by the father, by a person to whom I consider as father of rehabilitation services for the persons with disabilities in the country, Mr. Lal Advani, that he was asked in the ministry to think of starting some human resource development training programs in the field of disability rehabilitation. Since he himself did not have any training, though he was himself blind, had long experience, he said that he will have to see what is happening in other countries. He was sent to UK and a couple of other countries to see what are the human resource development programs in those countries for providing education training to persons with visual disabilities. And on his return, he found that in this country, there was a pioneer in the field of visual education of the visually disabled, a lady called Rahmat Fazalboy. Dr. Grover perhaps might have heard her name,
Yes.
might have met as well also. And she had been to Scotland and England, where during 50s, integrated education for the visually impaired was being talked of. As we all know that integrated education in the world began in England and US in the 19th century. So Rahmat Fazalboy brought the idea of integrated education from Scotland, and she tried to persuade regular schools to admit children with visual impairment. And in Pune and Bombay, if I remember correctly, she admitted few children in 2 or 3 schools, where she got a couple of teachers appointed as resource teachers who had no training, in fact, in the education, but hands-on experience and training in the teaching situation, teaching learning situation. She provided training to them. And that is how the idea of having trained human resource for the education of visually impaired started cropping up. In fact, one of my very renowned professors of general education, Dr. D.K. Pasi, some of you might have heard his name. He worked in NCRT, he worked other universities, but finally he worked in Ahilyabai University, Indore, and retired from there. He said that though we have training programs, but the first person who would have given training in any discipline for that matter would himself or herself would have been untrained. he would have only imagined, and based on his imagination and thinking, he would have developed the curriculum for training and then started. Similarly, in our area also, in the field, disability rehabilitation area also, things went like this. So in 62, based on Mr. Advani's experience abroad, what he put together from there, based on the experience of Rahmat Fazal Boy, based on the experience of certain other programs which had begun, of which I don't know the dates exactly, in the field of hearing impairment and other disabilities. The then Ministry of Social Welfare and Social Security developed a scheme called Scheme for Training of Teachers for the Disabled. And under that scheme, a certificate level course for matric students was developed in the area of visual disability, perhaps later in the area of other disabilities also. And this program was launched at 4 different locations in the country: in Delhi, Mumbai, Palankotai, Tamil Nadu, and Ramakrishna Mission Ashram, Narendrapur, West Bengal. This program was initially a certificate course. Later on, in mid-70s, it was changed into a diploma course, with the minimum qualification being matriculate continuing. In 70s, some universities were approached, late 70s, that they should also develop some programs. Hardly any university accepted. Only it was in 1978-79 when a professional called Bourgeois, and another lady whose name Jean Ken Moore from Germany visited South India as well as Delhi to see as to how integrated education program could be promoted, could be popularized, could be made possible in this country. Because in 1974, the ministry had developed a scheme to introduce education of children with disabilities in regular schools. And the name of the scheme was Integrated Education for Disabled Children, IEDC. Under this program, there were several provisions. I will not go into the details of these provisions, but later on, if questions somebody would want, we will try to answer. In 79, the Ramakrishna Vidyalaya College of Education in Coimbatore thought of a program at the bachelor's level, and they started working on it. And perhaps in 1980, although it is nowhere recorded, but to the best of my memory, in 79-80, the first ever B.Ed special education program was launched in the country at Ramakrishna Vidyalaya College of Education, affiliated to Bharatiyar University. And after that, programs in Kurukshetra, SNDT University Mumbai, Jamia Millia Islamia New Delhi started during 1983-84, Kurukshetra during 91-92, and other places, SNDT also early 80s. But these programs were just a few. Hardly 4 or 5 universities were there. And till 1985, rather 86, the training programs, whosoever began, whether the diploma courses or the couple of degree programs which were launched during 1980-81, they were not having any uniformity. There was no uniform syllabus. There was no uniform eligibility conditions for admission to different courses. Seeing this, the Ministry of Social Welfare, rather at that time, the name of this ministry had become Ministry for Welfare Ministry under the regime of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. And at that time, it was thought that there should be a council, a body on the lines of Medical Council of India, which should take the responsibility of standardizing and recognizing courses, manpower development of human resource development courses in the field of disability rehabilitation. And in 1986, the first attempt that Rehabilitation Council of India, which was at that time a registered society, not a statutory body as it is now, but it was a registered society. And but what they did was they developed a uniform diploma level programs in various disabilities. People, many people did not accept its instructions. Therefore, in 1991, the need was felt that this council converted into a statutory body. And then, as a result, passed by the parliament. And in 1992-93, the council became a statutory body. And then they started developing courses in different disabilities. I know Dr. J.P. Singh, who was by and large the first member secretary, although before him there was one more person, Mr. Bhasin, but he worked in the council just for a couple of years. Dr. J.P. Singh worked for about 19 years or so. So Dr. J.P. Singh used to say that when he took over the work of Rehabilitation Council, there were hardly single-digit number courses, and manpower available was not in 4 digits. It was perhaps not more than 200 or 300 people all throughout the country, total. After that, due to two developments, which I would like to refer, and some of you may know or may not know, that in 1983-84, NCERT took up a project which was called Project Integrated Education for the Disabled, PIED. And under that, they gave funds to few universities like BHU, Andhra University in Visakhapatnam, Jamia Millia Islamia, Kurukshetra, and a few others to start B.Ed special education program, rather to start not B.Ed as such, but a multi-category training program. One experiment was conducted in late 80s and early 90s, multi-category human resource development program for the education of children with different disabilities. It was of, if I remember, 1 year duration, 1 or 2 years duration. And during that period, the students were given understanding of all the disabilities. They were taught some skills of various disabilities, so on and so forth. but this course could not gain popularity. It could not become popular. It was not accepted. It was reported also at the completion of the PIDE project that this program did not uh, achieve acceptance in the country. Therefore, it was closed. And B.Ed special education program started. And the name at that time was given Bachelor of Special Education, BSED, and MSED, Master of Special Education. These programs continued for about 5-6 years. But after that, the question was raised as to what would happen to the students of these programs, who will complete these courses successfully. What will happen? Where will they go? What jobs they will get? Because many universities did not start special education programs. Many institutes did not start special education programs. NGOs were also not at that time coming in big number to start special education manpower development programs. Therefore, it was thought that the nomenclature for these courses be changed to Bachelor's Special Education, Master's Special Education, rather B.Ed Special Education, M.Ed Special Education, so that the successful candidates of these courses could go in general education stream also. And at that same time, around late 90s or early 2000, the National Council for Teacher Education, NCTE, had issued a circular that all general education institutions or universities or departments offering B.Ed and M.Ed courses should have at least one special educator, one lecturer, assistant professor in the education of the disabled, so that he could handle a, a special paper which was supposed to be there in B.Ed programs, in M.Ed programs, although many universities did not start that as well. But this circular was not followed by 90-95% universities. As a result of which, the the students who were trained at Jamia, who were trained at Kurukshetra, Vishakhapatnam, Coimbatore, and many other places, SNDT, Mumbai, they could not get jobs. They ultimately ended up working in NGOs. So this is how the programs in the field of special education came up: diploma for primary school teachers, B.Ed, M.Ed. Dr. Himanshu had mentioned in his presentation that this is perhaps the only country where we have 2-year, 3 years programs, disability specific programs, and not in other countries. Friends, the reason for this was that the programs which were started initially in this country, they were on the models which were there in US and UK. In 50s and 60s, in UK as well as in US, particularly in the field of visual disability, there were not different levels, but at least one course was disability specific, which was
Sir, voice available? So you're not audible. Is sir audible?
Ma'am, sir will have to unmute himself.
Who?
Mittal sir has to unmute himself.
Sir, you have become mute. Sir, shall I call him?
Yes, ma'am, because I'm even requesting him to unmute, but वो हो नहीं रहा है.
Unmute कर दीजिए.
Beta?
Yes, done, sir. Audible
Yeah.
now.
Done, sir.
Is it okay now?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Can you tell me since when it was like this so that I
Yeah.
can cover up what was the last thing that I mentioned? Can you tell me?
We could hear till, there were you.
Pardon?
Yeah, we were talking about RCA. You
Anyway,
said we started doing,
what
conduct.
I will tell, I'll try to, in short, repeat what I said. Okay?
Sir, you were mentioning about the NCERT courses.
In 1979-80, there were no degree programs. Degree programs started only in 80s, and they did not have any and regulatory body RCI began working from 1986 as a registered society, and being because it was a registered society, people did not listen to its directions. Therefore, in 1992, it was converted into a statutory body. After that, it started developing courses in all the spheres, in all the 16 categories assigned to the council. In visual disability, they developed diploma courses. They developed diploma in orientation and mobility program, B.Ed special education, visual impairment, and the special education university programs, universities, when they started offering bachelor's, master's level program. Similarly, few other universities were giving those degrees, but those degrees were not accepted as legitimate qualification for the job of a lecturer in education in the universities. That is why from early 2000, the nomenclature was changed to B.Ed special education, VI, M.Ed special education, VI, and the same pattern was in the case of diplomas, diploma in special education, VI, intellectual disability, HI, so on and so forth. These programs were basically for university positions, the positions of teacher educators in the universities, because early 2000, the NCTE has issued circular to various universities that they one lecturer in special education on their faculty, be it education faculty, M.Ed education faculty, at least one lecturer, so that he or she could handle the content of a special paper which was proposed by the NCTE to be included in B.Ed and M.Ed courses, so that all the regular teachers, school teachers, could get some orientation about the educational needs of children with different disabilities. Although in many universities it was not started, it could not be, it could not take it, it was not implemented. The special education or the manpower development in the area of visual disability concerned, there were diplomas in the beginning. After that, certificate and then diploma from Helen Keller International, New York, in 70s, early 70s, developed to prepare teachers, provide instructions, orientation, and to for the education of the visual impairment, and it was called O&M instructors or O&M teacher. That for 3 months. In 80s, it was converted into a 6-month certificate and to a diploma, a 1-year diploma program. And from 1998 onwards, it became a 1-year degree program for the bachelor students called Bachelors in. This program was launched only at the then NIBH, now NIPED Dehradun, with the affiliation of Hemwati Nandan Bahuguna University, Srinagar, Garhwal, which is now closed. Now it is not being offered. Then diploma program, as I told, from 1962-63 to about 1981-82, we had only one program in the country which was being offered at 4 different places regionally. Apart from that, there was no other program. B.Ed Special Education Visual Disability program started only from 1980-81 at Kamya, then Kurukshetra, BHU, few universities like Andhra University and Visakhapatnam. M.Ed Special Education started only in 90s. There are diploma, B.Ed and M.Ed programs, and diploma in orientation mobility, which is not being offered at many places, only at 1 or 2 places in the south. It is there. Another development that place in our country was in early 90s. Some states wanted their regular school teachers to be trained in the education of the disabled. RCI developed several modules. I remember one module was developed by them for a period of 45. It was a 45-day training module in the area of education of disabled. One module was developed for 60 days. One module was developed for 6 weeks, and one module for 4 weeks. These modules were developed for specific purposes. The specific purpose being for the orientation of regular school teachers. Orientation of regular school teachers. And in 2002-2003, if I remember the dates correctly, RCI was approached by some people and some organizations that many regular school teachers who have a qualified, they wanted to join disability field. Therefore, RCI developed a 1-year PG diploma in special education, disability wise, in the area of VI, in the area of HI, in the area of intellectual disability. After doing this course, a person would become qualified to be a special educator in regular schools or special schools, as well as he would seek admission in MAd special education programs in the concerned disability. Available in our country today. Another development which I should mention, in the early years of first decade of 21st century, the new trend started, and that trend started because of the need of having large number of special educators trained in a shorter duration of time. And that trend was to start teacher preparation programs in the field of disability education through distance mode. And the first program that was started was by MPBOU, that is Madhya Pradesh Bhoj Open University, Bhopal. Many people were not in favor of this program. I was also not in favor of this program, because I am of the firm view that special education manpower development program should not be through distance mode, because it requires a detailed skill training, and skill training cannot be done through distance programs. That is my feeling. I may be wrong, that is a different thing, but I believe that skill training cannot be done through distance programs effectively, successfully. Therefore, I was opposed. But then one or opposing by 1 or 2, 3 people makes no difference. This program started first MPBOU, then several other open universities also took up. And now online training programs were also launched in 2016, 17, around that time. Some programs are still going on. I, for one, would urge and request to all of us to think as to how these online programs be made effective. Since now they are there, we cannot close them. They cannot be closed. They will never be closed. They will continue to be offered. Since they will continue to be offered, we have to contemplate, we have to think as to how we can make them more effective, more useful, so that the successful candidates of these programs may impart what they are supposed to impart, that is the education to our children with disabilities. Now, if there is any other point that would be raised, I'll be happy to discuss and answer during question answer session now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
For very nicely and very comprehensively tracing the history of human resource development, right from the beginning, when the first training program came into existence till now. So I think our viewers, our students would have got a very good idea, fairly good idea, how we have traveled this path. But one thing we all have noticed, with time, with the need of the children with disability, need of the people with disabilities, the human resource also kept on changing. That's what we have noticed. And as sir said that he is not a believer of distance program, I believe the same. because even in the normal education, that's very correctly said, that a teacher needs to develop certain skills, skills and competencies to deal with the children, to deal with the regular children as well as deal with the special children. And they cannot be attained till you have hands-on experience with the children. I think we all agree. But given the time, given this COVID-19 situation, this is the only way. And now we have to think, as sir has suggested, how best we can use this medium to impart knowledge to our friends with disability and also to the trainers, who are going to help them out or who are going to teach and train them. Having said that, like I also had a little presentation. I can see Director Nipnet has also, I can see him on the screen. So, sir, thank you. Welcome again. So would you like to take questions now? Shall I do my brief presentation I had? I'm seeking permission from both the resource persons. Okay. So, I just want to tell you, as sir said, as Dr. Himanshu, Professor Mittal said, the human resource requirement will keep on changing. As and when our thought processes, our attitude, the needs of our person with disability change, the requirement of human resource will also change. And especially now, with all these acts in place, it's become a legal policy that it's their right to get educated and trained. So having said that, I have just 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes presentation. I need to share the screen now, Kanika.
Ma'am, can I just do it for you?
Okay, please. Host disabled me. Okay. So basically, as both of our stalwarts are already explained what is required at present, and Dr. Himanshu is already involved in the process of overhauling this process of the program. But I still want to make small little presentation on the basis of my experience, So what we are talking, as I just said, that human resource, will change as per the policies. Earlier we used to think, we never even thought that these children with disabilities can be taught and trained. We have traveled so long. So earlier, as Professor Mittal has said, we started with the multi-category teacher training program. And today we are talking about inclusion, So when we are talking about inclusion, what is the requirement of the human resource now? That is what we have to see. So second slide, please. You can just carry on. So as I'm saying now, it is not my intention or my wish. Next, please, Kanika.
Yes, ma'am.
That
ma'am, just a second.
To do with these children, it is the law now. It is the official mandate. It is the instruction from the government that it is their right to be educated. All our friends with disabilities, persons with disabilities, or you can say persons with special education needs, is their right to be educated, and it is our duty to provide them their rights. So now, how do we provide to their rights? Now, the earlier slide, please. I wanted to show all the policies which before that. Earlier, yeah. So all these policies, I will not get into the detail. They have given the mandate for inclusive education, and we all are now, the whole nation is in the process of implementing inclusive education, though some of them still feel that it is not the best approach. But whatever you may say, we have missed the train now, and this is our national policy, and we have to now see how best we can make it successful, how best we can make it work. But that's the policy in hand now. So it is our duty now, what kind of human resource should be there for this? Yes, please. So I'm not getting into the policies. We have international policies, state policies, national policies. We have acts in place. Everything is there. So now it is not up to my wish what I want to do. but it is the legal binding on me. I have to do it. Next, please. So now what is required? So I am just thinking of this classroom, which a human resource, a teacher, which we are going to develop is going to handle. There may be many probabilities, many combinations of disabilities, but this is what we can expect. Children with so many, with this chain, RPWD Act 2016, we can expect now many more children. We have 21 disabilities. I'm not saying we have to have human resource for all those categories, but still we have to make a mention of those. Since we have made a mention in the RPWD Act, we have to make a mention in our syllabi also now. So this is, we are expecting a human resource to deal with. Now this is an inclusive shift. पहले क्या हो रहा था, एक डिसेबिलिटी में एक स्पेशलिस्ट ट्रेन हो रहा है, आईडी में ट्रेन हो रहे हैं, एचआई में ट्रेन हो रहे हैं, और या ए या बी में हो रहे हैं, इस तरह से ट्रेन हो रहे हैं, तो उस तरह से हमें स्पेशलिस्ट भी हम लोग वैसे रख रहे हैं, राइट? दिस इज व्हाट वी वर डूइंग. तो अगर आईडी का स्कूल है तो वहां पे आईडी ट्रेन टीचर्स जा रहे हैं, जहाँ पे एचआई का स्कूल है वहां पे जा रहे हैं. But now the situation is, I'm not saying special schools will go away, but the policy of inclusive education, if we have to implement it successfully, if we have to make it work, I think you'll all agree with me that we have gone too far in this direction, but still it is not up to the standard which we are expecting. I think you'll all agree with me. So right now what we are thinking, that we need a specialist now in inclusion, that we have all these children in our classroom, but we need a specialist who has, training in all these disabilities. Am I right or not? That's the ideal situation. Like one person can't say, oh, there are children with HI in the school, and oh, I'm not trained in HI. So who will deal with them, because we don't have another special educator. So this is the requirement of a human resource, basically, that he should be trained in cross disability, that we all know. Now, how do we? To be very honest, sir, if you ask me, Professor Mittal, when it is multi-category children, and when we had started this BRT course, where all the disabilities were included, that we had taken, consideration of having this syllabus, having all the cross disabilities. I tell you, the human resource which came out after doing this course was, very, very efficient and very, very useful. Like schools and teachers and universities and clinics and hospitals, time and again were requesting us, can we have those people who have done BRT course? Can we have people who have done, courses in cross disability? So that's the need. We have seen in our own experience that that's the need of the situation. Now, the question before us right now is that this is the situation. We can have these combinations, which I've just told you, showed you just now, the various combinations we can have in the regular classroom along with the regular children. So do we have the resource room to deal with that situation? A big question mark. Yes. And now the kind of, you would have seen, I have just seen, I was told by somebody, that the new document RCA has published, which talks about the vision and mission of 2020 to 2030. They have taught many things. They have, I think many of our issues are going to be resolved. I just had a glance through the whole thing. So, right now we have how many? Some 1,70,000 in 2018, yeah, 30,000 professionals. And how do we need? I give you this homework. So, and this is in all, not in each disability. And this is the number of training institutions, we have had so far. We have grown over the years and we will grow more. Now the question is, next please. Now the question is human resource, जिसकी हम आज बात कर रहे हैं. जो human resource है, जो हमारे RPW Act में आपने, अभी तक तो मुझे लग रहा था कि मेरे को, I don't know whether others will agree with me or not, but I was finding it difficult even with these 7 categories. Like if you tell me there was autistic child in my class, I'm also a grassroots worker like the other 2 stalwarts. I started my career with children. If I have an autistic child in my class and if I have a child with ID and HI, it becomes a big challenge for me. I'm not saying I can't handle it. With my own experience, I can be, I have solutions to, to make my class successful. But still, I'm saying that it is not easy, especially if I have a child with hyperactivity. Having 14 more new categories, we have to think about that. And we need to make a mention of these when we talk about human resource now, and we talk about the reviewing all our courses. I think overhauling is required in all the courses now. So having a cross disability course, which will be a one-stop shop, is the need of the hour. So ये जो professionals होंगे, ये हमारे बच्चों की needs को पूरी कर पाएंगे, because they are trained at dealing with all these children at a grassroots level. तो मैं सबसे पूछना चाहती हूँ, with all my people having rich experience, Professor Mittal, Dr. Himanshu, मैं हमेशा सोचती हूँ, why shouldn't we have just one course, inclusive education? And inclusive education at various stages. Inclusive education diploma, inclusive education BEd, inclusive education MEd, inclusive education PhD. Can we have, can we not? I mean, I feel if I have that kind of, in this my own view, at the fag end of my career, I always thought, if that is the resource we have, most of us can handle all the children in our regular classrooms. So, but obviously the need of the special schools will vary. We do need people. So I always feel, we are talking about, bringing all the children together, inclusive, integrated, all disabilities together. So why are we segregating the training? Why the specialists are being segregated? So that's my question always. It was there always, and it has not been answered so far. So I just say, like we have so many courses for, I know RCI started with this online course in inclusive education, but as I said, and Professor Mittal also agree with me, and I'm sure Professor Himanshu also will agree with me, the distance programs in education and training will not be of that quality of what we are expecting. So I always say that the professional will, be able to approach and deal with common issues related to disability effectively. Appointing such professionals in inclusive school will be very cost effective. That's what I feel. Next, please. And, they will also provide us, if we have this kind of human resource, आंगनवाड़ी जो हमारा पहला स्टेप होता है, जहाँ पे सबसे पहले बच्चे जाते हैं, जब हमें पता भी नहीं होता कि बच्चा डिसेबल है भी कि नहीं, या उसके कोई स्पेशल नीड्स है भी कि नहीं, या उसको कोई लर्निंग प्रॉब्लम है भी कि नहीं, या कुछ डिविएशंस है भी कि नहीं, वहां पे अगर ये फोर्स है तो वी आर इंटरवीनिंग एट अ अर्ली एज, एंड वी ऑल नो द एडवांटेजेस ऑफ दैट. तो मेरे को ये लगता है कि हमें अब ये सिस्टम ऐसा बनाना चाहिए कि जो हम हमेशा इंक्लूजन में कहते रहते हैं कि सिस्टम को ऐसा बनाना चाहिए विच विल फिट एवरीबॉडी. तो वो फिट एवरीबॉडी तभी होगा ना जब ये सब चीजें साथ साथ कनेक्टेड है ना, सब एकदम इंटीग्रेटेड है ना. ह्यूमन रिसोर्स इंक्लूजन के लिए तो बहुत फिटेड है ना. स्ट्रैटेजीज आर ऑल, दे आर चेन्ड, दे आर ऑल टुगेदर. TLM चेन्ड, करिकुलम चेन्ड, ट्रांजैक्शन ऑफ द करिकुलम चेन्ड. इनको हम अलग अलग तो कर ही नहीं सकते ना. सो दे आर ऑल कनेक्टेड. सो जैसे एंस्को एंड ट्विडल ने भी बहुत पहले कहा था, जब मैं यूके गई थी तब से ये बातें हो रही थी कि हमें आईपीस को अब भूल के ये कहना चाहिए कि अपने क्लासरूम में इस तरह की टीचिंग प्रोवाइड करो कि जो कि एक लीस्ट एबिलिटी का बच्चा है उसके लिए भी इफेक्टिव. अगर हमने उसके इफेक्टिव टीचिंग बना ली तो वो सारे बच्चे जो और भी हैं वहां पे, लीस्ट एबिलिटी के बना ले तो बाकी तो ऊपर ही है ना. तो दे विल ऑल लर्न फ्रॉम योर टीचिंग. तो एक टीचर को वो स्किल्स और कॉम्पिटेंसेस डेवलप करने की जरूरत है मेरे हिसाब से. एंड दैट्स नॉट and that's possible. It's not a difficult, it's a difficult task, but not impossible. Anyway, next please. So yeah, so ये सब मेरे को नहीं बता रही हूँ RCI विजन डॉक्यूमेंट में, which I thought will be relevant. So मुझे एक ray of hope दिख रही है. RCI is planning. I wanted Dr. Subodh also to come for this webinar. For some reason he couldn't come. I wanted him to talk about all this latest thing, but somehow, next please, next slides. So all I'm saying is that we are hoping many good things happening, good things in the sense, things which we require in the present time, especially now that the situation is changing, COVID time. तो कैसी ह्यूमन रिसोर्स चाहिए, जैसे सर ने अभी कहा, अभी तो थोड़े साल, पता नहीं मुझे 1 साल का 6 महीने ह्यूमन रिसोर्स ऐसी चाहिए जो ऑनलाइन पढ़ा सके, यू नो, तो वो तो चलेगा ही, द सिचुएशन इज लाइक दैट, तो वो भी हमें ध्यान में रखना है. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. Yeah, this is a new vision. I don't want to talk about that because the time is less and my resource persons are waiting. So we can just go through this. I will advise and suggest all the viewers that go through this document and you will see what all we are looking forward and what we are trying to achieve in the next 10 years. So education for all, teaching education in the country needs fresh look. As I said, overhauling is required. It is necessary to rethink and revise the existing teacher education curriculum content, to prepare the teacher to respond to the wide range of children in the classroom, in the changing environment, with the changing policies which exist today. Next, please. Yeah. So, B.Ed courses, ये सब सर ने already बात कर दी है. आसिया ने क्रेडिट सिस्टम अच्छा शुरू किया था, जिसमें अगर मैंने आईडी में ट्रेनिंग करी थी तो मैंने क्रेडिट कोर्स ले लिया था, HI का, VI का, उससे मैंने अपने आप को ट्रेन करा so that I can handle. I can't say I only know HI, ID. I don't know HI. The times have gone when I can say that. So everyone needs to be trained in cross disabilities now. So integrated course, which ASIA again took the initiative in MIT, and MIT took this course, So we have started few courses here and there. But I think if we can have more at a national level and there are more takers, we can really have a good human resource in place. Next, please. So, so this is what I'm thinking, कि हमारा ये classroom है, तो हमें इसके लिए हमें resource room चाहिए, जहाँ पे हमारे पास resource room भी होगा, जहाँ पे हमारे कुछ बच्चे जो है resource room में होंगे, कुछ हमारे बच्चे जो है functional skills कर रहे हैं, कुछ हमारे बच्चे जो है रेगुलर क्लासेस पे है, कुछ VI के हैं, HI के हैं, they are all there. So specialist in cross disabilities जो है वो ऐसी क्लास को हैंडल कर पाएंगे. Next, so this is my model, which I think. So I know लोग सोचते होंगे कि ideal है, ideal नहीं है. In a very small scale, I have tried. I keep trying, still keep trying with whatever, resources I have, with whatever work I'm doing. And I feel things are not difficult. It's just we need to have a direction. And I'm sure with these stalwarts, the people who have seen the history, who have seen the journey of special education, I'm sure one day they will make our system so effective, that everybody, then we wouldn't even have to say people with special need. We would say all children can benefit. Thank you. So now coming to our resource persons. Now the session is, the forum is open for question answer. I think our host will come. I would request my host, she would have noted down the questions which have come during the webinar. Can I request Kanika please to ask questions from the resource persons?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. If there are any.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, first of all, there is a question for Himanshu sir, where there are many second year D.Ed students who have been attending the session. And because of this COVID time, they are asking that when are we going to have our exams, as the job market awaits us. So when are we going to, and how the exams will happen? Is there any idea and any decision about it so far?
So this question is not related to this, but if Sir Himanshu sir would like to answer, please. Mike, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
I thank you, dear all students. It is a critical time for all of you RCI, the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disability, all the teacher training institution, as well as the national institutes and their NBR centers. We are closely following up with different state government orders, the court orders in respect to different categories of disability, and also in reference to different types of courses. We are closely also following up the decisions being taken up by different councils vis-a-vis the engineering, the veterinary, the forestry, the fishery, the dentistry, the nursing council, the pharmaceutical councils, etc. And we have also been receiving a lot of representations from various organizations running these diploma programs across the country. We assure you that within next 2 to 3 weeks, we should be able to come up with a decision as to what best system could the ministry and the RCI adopt to facilitate all of you. So I only wish you good luck, keep preparing, keep studying. Will not let your session be lost. Don't worry about that. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is one question. Practically implementing inclusive education in regular school is very difficult. What are the measures by which we can promote inclusive education in Indian regular schools? This question has been asked by Pandurang Alukar.
You want me to answer, ma'am?
Sir, actually, he's asking that implementing inclusive education in regular schools is very difficult.
I got it. I got it.
How can we promote it?
Yeah, even sir answered, Himanshu sir, we need input on this because that's the question.
We all know this is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Even countries, those who are implementing inclusive education for over 5 decades now or 4 decades now, are also having tremendous amount of difficulty in truly implementing inclusive education in the right spirit. However, the only problem that India faces today is primarily the mindset of the population, whether it is the special educator, the general educator, the principals, the policymaker, the parents of the special needs children, the parents of the peer group. We all have to change our mindsets first. Once the mindset is changed, then the second question of empathy development comes. India is one of such rare countries where we do not have a school system where we build up empathies for teachers or empathy for anyone, for any matter that is concerned. So few things, whatever, there are a lot of research studies, a lot of actionable steps which can be suggested, but by and large, the first thing that we need to understand is the law is there, the act is there, the policies are there. What makes the law, act, and the policy move is the mindset of the people. In India, we don't care about law. We don't sort of respect law. We don't respect rights of persons with disabilities. So that is the first thing which I would like to point out. Once this is achieved, capacity building of organizations in terms of its human resources, in terms of other resources, physical resources, could be a matter of time. But however, this 20, 30, 40 years of time, if you see, it is basically non-understanding of inclusive education format in totality. When you do an interview of teachers and policymakers and headmasters and principals, we get to know there is a gross misconception as regards what inclusive education is. And second misconception, which is regard to the role that a regular teacher as a resource teacher or a principal has to play in inclusive education. So I strongly feel a kind of awareness is required and respect for law is required. The attitude has to change. The rest, everything can fall in line. Thank you, ma'am.
There is one more question. Thank you, sir. There is one more question by Bora Sai Lakshmi. And they're asking, why can't we have only one discipline of course, as our all resource person also mentioned, that which can focus on all disabilities with hands-on experience. Any program which has been introduced and teaching strategies for all types of disabilities. Is there any course which has been introduced so far to cater to all disabilities?
Disability is a dynamic concept. So do rehabilitation and education of persons with disabilities. Let us not understand it as a static concept. So over the historically last one full century, if you see, the disability and the concept of rehabilitation and education of persons with disability had always been a dynamic concept. Based on this dynamism of disability as a science, you see the human resource development had also been taking different stand. Now there are requirements of specialists, there are requirement of super specialists. At the same time, there are requirement of generalists as well. At what level we need generalists, at what level we need specialists, and at what level we need super specialists is a issue of policy, is a issue of strategy that we need to all sit and work out as a country or as a at different state level. It's not that we do not we cannot have such courses. We have come up with cross disciplinary. Right now, if you see RCI, they have got a curriculum ready for B.Ed in inclusive education, B.Ed in inclusive education, and M.Ed in inclusive education. So similarly, there are a lot of other curriculums, those who are in process. However, it's not that simple to be understood, because different disability groups, when you talk to, they are not very sure whether this cross disability experts or inclusive education expert would be able to meet their individual needs or not. So thereby, the need for generalists and specialists both are definitely required, because when you talk to the blind population, they would not agree to a generalist special education teacher because they definitely want Braille input to be given. So how do we ensure human resource development for Braille is essentially provided? Similarly, there are a lot of other issues which comes in specific disability, which may not be provided as a generalist curriculum in for a special educator. So it's a complex thing that which we think it will take some time to settle down. But as we all have understood the issue of the need of generalist and the specialist teacher, hopefully in coming few years, this problem will be settled at RCI level. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, may I, Kanika, we can also have views of Professor Mittal on this?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, Mittal sir has muted himself. He will need to unmute himself.
Oh.
Mittal sir, I would request you to please unmute yourself.
He can't listen to you, na? He can. Sir, you have unmuted yourself. I mean, muted yourself. Professor Mittal, you please unmute yourself. मुझे कॉल करना पड़ेगा. He's saying something, but we can't hear. Yeah. Okay. So I think we are running out of time. Sir, have you unmuted yourself?
No, ma'am, not till now.
Acha. Okay.
Ma'am, there is one last question. Actually, there is a question for Mittal sir. And
Can't hear.
Are you able to hear my voice?
Yeah. Now
Hello?
we can hear you, sir. Please. Yeah.
I don't know how it became mute again on its own.
Oh,
Anyway, we
that's technology.
have two to make.
Technology भी अपनी मर्जी से
Question: Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can. Kanika, पूछो जल्दी, 2 बज रहे हैं.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
मैं बहुत शेप में सिर्फ 2-3 बातें कहूंगा. पहली ये है कि इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन को अगर हमें रियलिस्टिक बनाना है, प्रैक्टिकल बनाना है, तो हमें एक ऐसा सिस्टम डेवलप करना पड़ेगा, एटलीस्ट एट द डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर, वेयर ऑल special education teachers or special different disabilities are enrolled, placed, and depending upon the needs of a particular disability special educator in a particular school, his services or her services may be utilized. Because कभी भी ऐसा कोई भी टीचर डेवलप कर पाना मुश्किल होगा जो किसी भी लेवल पे सारी डिसेबिलिटीज को, उनकी सारी प्रैक्टिकल नीड्स को पूरा करने में कॉम्पिटेंट हो पाएगा. इसलिए मैं हमेशा बहुत दिनों से ये बात कहता रहा हूं कि डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर्स में हमको एक रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट सेंटर बनाना चाहिए, जहां पर सारे स्पेशल एजुकेटर्स होने चाहिए, और उस डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जिस स्कूल में जिस डिसेबिलिटी का बच्चा हो, प्रिंसिपल इस आरडीसी को, रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट सेंटर को कांटेक्ट करके उस डिसेबिलिटी स्पेसिफिक टीचर को वहां पर बुला सकता है फॉर 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, till the children in that school of that particular disability expanded core curricular skills. And once a child with disabilities, single disability child, visual or hearing, acquires expanded core curricular skills of required for a particular level of a class, then he will not need the services of the special educator. His or her needs can be met by the regular school teachers. और दूसरी चीज जो मैं कहना चाहता हूँ वो ये है कि यूनिवर्सिटीज को जहां पर भी स्पेशल एजुकेशन के प्रोग्राम्स चल रहे हैं, चाहे वो बीएड स्पेशल के हो, बीएड स्पेशल एजुकेशन हो या एमएड स्पेशल एजुकेशन हो, वहां पर आरसीआई के साथ कंसल्टेशन के बाद अलग अलग डिसेबिलिटीज के शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन मॉड्यूल्स डेवलप किए जाने चाहिए, वो इम्प्लीमेंट होने चाहिए, और those who complete those modules should be given appropriate certification to be able to get job in other disabilities as well. इस तरह के अगर हम efforts करते हैं तो हम inclusive education को प्रमोट करने के लिए, तीसरी चीज ये है कि ये हम एक एक दिन, दो दो दिन के जो ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स कर रहे हैं ना आजकल, दिल्ली में बहुत हो रहे हैं और भी शहरों में शायद हो रहे हैं ना मैडम?
यस सर,
एम आई राइट? इनसे कोई फायदा होने जाने वाला नहीं है, क्योंकि एक दो दिन के अंदर आप किसी भी रेगुलर स्कूल टीचर्स को कुछ नहीं कर सकते. आई फुली एग्री विद डॉक्टर हिमांशु दास व्हेन ही सेज कि माइंडसेट की बात बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, लेकिन पिछले 20 सालों में सिचुएशन में बहुत चेंज आया है. आज माइंडसेट की उतनी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है जितनी शायद आज से 20-30 साल पहले थी. अब लोग डिसेबल्ड बच्चों की एजुकेशन की इंपॉर्टेंस को एक्सेप्ट करने लगे, उनको अपने स्कूल में एनरोल करने के लिए भी तैयार हो जाते हैं. लेकिन समस्या वही आती है, वही वो ये कहते हैं कि बच्चे को तो मैंने एडमिशन दे दिया, मेरे पास ना तो पैसा है स्पेशल इक्विपमेंट खरीदने के लिए, ना मेरे पास टीचर है जो कि डिसेबिलिटी को जानता है, तो ये बच्चा यहाँ पर रहेगा, आएगा घर से, जाएगा घर वापस, लेकिन सीखेगा क्या? तो हमें इन चीजों को देखना होगा. माइंडसेट तो कभी भी उस लेवल का नहीं हो पाएगा जितना एटीट्यूड की प्रॉब्लम, माइंडसेट की प्रॉब्लम जो है एटीट्यूड की प्रॉब्लम से रिलेटेड है. और एटीट्यूड की प्रॉब्लम न केवल हमारे देश में, इवन डेवलप्ड वर्ल्ड में भी. मैं खुद 1990 में इंग्लैंड में था, वहां पर भी मैंने देखा कि नॉन डिसेबल्ड पॉपुलेशन के अंदर ये फीलिंग्स थी, ये उनकी थिंकिंग थी कि डिसेबल्ड का दोस्त डिसेबल्ड ही हो सकता है, नॉन डिसेबल्ड नहीं हो सकता. ओके, तो माइंडसेट के लिए वी शुड मेक एफर्ट्स, नो डाउट, बट एट द सेम टाइम जो हमारी प्रैक्टिकल रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, नीड्स, प्रैक्टिकल स्ट्रेटजीज हैं, उनको हमें कुछ डेवलप करना पड़ेगा, उस पर कुछ काम करना पड़ेगा, तभी जाकर हम इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन के गोल को रियलाइज कर पाएंगे. और एट द सेम टाइम हमको ये भी एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा ऑनेस्टली कि every child with disability cannot be included. All children with disabilities cannot be included in regular schools. They can be included once they are prepared. They can be included and brought back to special school. अगर मान लीजिए एक ब्लाइंड चाइल्ड जिसको हमने रेगुलर स्कूल में एडमिट किया है, पढ़ रहा है, किसी लेवल पे जाके हम देखते हैं कि वो उतना अचीव नहीं कर पा रहा जितना कि उस एज के बच्चे को करना चाहिए, जितना उसको करना चाहिए, तो हमको उसका असेसमेंट करना चाहिए और देखना चाहिए प्रॉब्लम कहाँ पर है. स्कूल में प्रॉब्लम है, टीचर में प्रॉब्लम है, या उसको मटेरियल नहीं मिल पाता, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, और उसके बेस पे हमको उसको दोबारा से प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए. दोबारा स्कूल में इस तरह का एक मॉडल शॉ ग्रोव स्कूल फॉर द ब्लाइंड मैनचेस्टर में चलता है इंग्लैंड में, जो पहले तो था, अब भी मोस्ट लाइकली है, आज से 20-30 साल पहले था, अभी भी है. वहां पर यही किया जाता है कि बच्चे को एनरोल करते हैं रेगुलर स्कूल में और फिर उसका पीरियोडिक असेसमेंट करते हैं. जब देखते हैं कि बच्चा डिजायर्ड लेवल पे तक नहीं पहुंच पा रहा है, तो उसको वहां से पुल आउट करते हैं, प्रिपेयर करते हैं, देन वी आर अगेन दे पुट अगेन दैट चाइल्ड इन ए रेगुलर स्कूल। तो इस तरह की कुछ चीजों पे हमको विचार करना पड़ेगा, कॉन्क्रीट प्रैक्टिकल एक्शन प्लान बनाना पड़ेगा, तभी हमें इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन को, केवल हम ये मानकर चलें कि एटीट्यूड पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा तो इंक्लूजन हो जाएगा, मैं कम से कम इस बात को नहीं मानता हूं, क्योंकि एटीट्यूड में पहले 20 साल 30 साल पहले से आज बहुत डिफरेंस है। आप इस बात को मान कर चलिए। कोई भी रेगुलर स्कूल का प्रिंसिपल या हेडमास्टर के पास आप जाइए, वो मना नहीं करता है एडमिशन के लिए 90% केसेस।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू फॉर गिविंग कॉन्क्रीट सजेशंस। पर एक बात मैं यहाँ पे बोलना चाहती हूँ कि जो हमारे बच्चे हैं, व्हेन आई से हमारे बच्चे, यू नो, सेंसरी डिसेबिलिटीज, डीलिंग विद सेंसरी डिसेबिलिटीज एज कंपेयर टू डीलिंग विद आईडी एंड अदर डेवलपमेंटल डिसेबिलिटीज, आई थिंक we'll all agree that they're totally different, or maybe more challenging, if I can say so.
Bilkul, certainly.
Yeah. So for them, you know, like we have to, and I'm so happy that the person who will be at the policy making level with us, Dr. Himanshu Das, is listening to all our concerns and our apprehensions, and I'm sure in time to come, with young people like him, are going to bring qualitative change, you know, not only quantitative change, but qualitative change in special education. So with this, I would request my host to, we can't take more questions, Kanika. I think, yeah, because...
Ma'am, actually, there is only one small question. There is one person who has been waiting to ask this question to Mittal sir. Sir, actually, Mr. Avinash का ये question है कि MP भोज भोपाल यूनिवर्सिटी का जो 2017 का B.Ed है, वो कोर्स जो है वो कभी पूरा नहीं हो सका, तो इसके रिगार्डिंग क्या कोई डिसीजंस हैं जो लिए जा रहे हैं जिस पे आप कुछ शेयर कर सकें?
ये अविनाश दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से एमएड किए कहीं, दिस अविनाश, बट एनीवे ऐसा है कि मेरी नॉलेज में ऐसी सिचुएशन, ऐसी स्थिति है नहीं कि कहीं का कोर्स कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ 2017 का। लेकिन
He's not the same Avinash.
Pardon?
He is not the same Avinash you were talking.
अच्छा, वो नहीं है कोई और। तो 2017 का कोर्स, जहां तक मेरी जानकारी, मुझे नहीं मालूम है कि वो इनकम्प्लीट है। अगर है तो उसके बारे में RCI इज द बेस्ट फोरम जिसको कि वो अप्रोच करें, और RCI विल इंटरवीन एंड फाइंड आउट कि कैसे उसको वो क्यों पूरा नहीं हुआ और कैसे उसको पूरा करने के लिए अब क्या कुछ किया जा सकता है।
Yeah, thank you. But before we end and before we formally thank both of you, I just have to tell my viewers, tomorrow again we have a session on inclusive education, and our resource person is from Monash University, Australia. So please be on time, everybody. And I think we will ask the remaining questions tomorrow. And I think for today, it had been a very, very enriching session. Dr. Himanshu Das, Professor Mittal, like...
Thank you very much.
It was really so nice to listen to both of you. And thank you for taking time from your busy schedule. Now, Kanika, please formally thank our guests.
Thank you so much, Himanshu sir and Mittal sir. It was an enlightening session, and we planned this whole session at such a short notice because the availability was in just 2 days time, but we could still manage to get almost 200 participants. So it has been a great learning experience, and already the demand has been coming from the participants that on this topic, one more webinar should be organized in near future. That we'll definitely do. So thank you so much. And sir, one request, being in the disability field, I would really request, it's not a question, but just a request from all of you, if we can have in disability courses which are equivalent to courses in graduation, because then we end up doing too many courses and we are still not eligible for so many posts. So,
committee नहीं कर रहे हैं ना, हाँ, sir can answer. Himanshu sir ने
B.Ed special education courses are already equivalent to B.Ed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But actually, if it's equivalent to graduation, see, my friend who did graduation in BCom honors, she went on to do MCom and then cleared NET, and now she's a professor. So, but I did my graduation, then I did my BEd, then I did a post graduation, then I did some diploma course, and then now still I like not eligible to be an assistant professor because I don't have a MA in education. So like too many degrees, but at the same time people doing Delhi University courses and going for MCom and then clearing NET are at, like, I would say, at a better position when it comes to professional careers. So that's
कनिका मैडम, ऐसा है कि जो कॉमर्स है या आर्ट सब्जेक्ट्स हैं या साइंस सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, उनकी सिचुएशन एजुकेशन से बिल्कुल डिफरेंट है. एजुकेशन में यू बिकम ए टीचर इन द फील्ड ऑफ एजुकेशन, और उसमें वो टीचर बनते हैं, सिर्फ कॉमर्स के टीचर बनते हैं, फिजिक्स के टीचर बनते हैं, इंग्लिश के, मतलब वो लेक्चर्स असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर जो बनते हैं मास्टर्स करने के बाद. मास्टर्स करने के बाद वो स्कूल के लिए एलिजिबल नहीं होते हैं. अगर उनको स्कूल के लिए एलिजिबल होना है टीचर बनने के लिए, तो उनको मास्टर्स के बाद भी फिर बीएड करना पड़ता है. जी. इसी तरह से हमारी फील्ड में भी अगर हम जनरल एजुकेशन में जाना चाहते हैं, टीचर बनना चाहते हैं, तो हम भी बीकॉम ये बीए करके एमए करके असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर बन सकते हैं. जी. है ना, ये है प्रॉब्लम. एजुकेशन में हमेशा डुअल डिग्री की जरूरत पड़ेगी, हर जगह पड़ती है. Even abroad also it is there. Dual degree चाहिए, B.Ed चाहिए, BA चाहिए, M.Ed चाहिए, MA चाहिए. अगर आपको कॉलेज लेवल में जाना है, टीचर एजुकेटर बनना है, तो you need a masters in school subject and you need a masters in education. जी. अगर स्कूल में जाना है as a school teacher, you need a bachelor's degree and you need a B.Ed also. जी. दोनों लेवल 2 डिग्री चाहिए. Similarly, at undergraduate level also 2 डिग्री चाहिए. एक डिप्लोमा चाहिए, एक सीनियर सेकेंडरी स्कूल सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए. हाँ जी. Is it clear? Yes, sir.
So shall we close?
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for answering the question, and thank you everyone. So tomorrow 10:30 we have, because sir, many of the participants were asking questions on inclusion, but I think tomorrow will be a better platform in the sense that we have the whole topic on inclusion only. So we would request the participants today who have joined us can join us with the same login ID and password tomorrow at 10:30.
My heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Dr. Himanshu and Professor Mittal sir. We'll meet in some other forum. With that hope, thank you and goodbye for now.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you. Beta, you take. No.
So Kanika, we will have a short meeting after having khana pina. We'll have a department meeting, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, okay. I'll end the call for all. Thank you so much.
I think it was very nice and I gained a lot and it was wonderful, wonderful. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Audience, you can unmute your mic. Did you like it?
Ma'am, they all are sharing in the chat section.
Yeah, I could read. But अभी कोई है तो बोल सकते हैं. अब तो formally chief guest और guest of honor चले गए हैं. मैं सिर्फ जानना चाहती थी कि ये सब हम लोग बहुत मेहनत करते हैं लोगों को बुलाने में और सब कुछ करने में. कैसा लग रहा है आप लोगों को?
बहुत इंफॉर्मेटिव है.
एक
हेलो.
हाँ जी.
हेलो. हाँ, मैं पुबाली बोल रही हूँ मैडम. बहुत आई एम पुबाली मैडम, डॉक्टर पुबाली अग्रवाल. नमस्कार. वेरी इंफॉर्मेटिव और बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है मैडम. बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है. मैं लास्ट डॉक्टर रामलखन जी का भी सुना, वो भी बहुत अच्छा लगा. और कल भी जरूर अटेंड करेंगे. थैंक यू सो मच मैडम. थैंक यू.
मैम बहुत अच्छा
और इंक्लूडिंग पेरेंट्स.
बहुत धन्यवाद आपका. बहुत अच्छा
लगा. गुड इवनिंग मैम. गुड इवनिंग उषा मैम. मैम I am Neeta Jha, working as a lecturer in NIPET and PID. So my friend
कहाँ पर?
also special
सिकंदराबाद or
child.
Delhi?
So I want to. Yes, ma'am, Sikandrabad. So I want to say just one thing about inclusion. So I send my child with my normal child to tuition, and all behavior problem has gone because he means I am sending him for tuition 2 hours. So it is not wasting of time. He is thinking like a normal child. But one problem nowadays that 10th class, my younger one son online classes is going on, and he also wants for online classes. So we are not arranging for the special child any online class. So my just one request, if it is possible, we can organize one online class for this type of children, so they can also feel we can engage in some activity like that.
Okay. To organize classes for special children?
Yeah, in national level, ma'am, because we just if I want to do, I am not, because I am going in job also. Daily I am going there, so it is not possible, and he knows if I am trying to online class I am giving him. He knows he is doing.
The school he goes to, they are not doing.
They are sending some like that PDF and like that. They are sending, no problem. But he is thinking my brother is whole day he is engaged. So he is just seeing him, and he is asking me when my online classes will be start. So that I haven't any answer for that. So उनको थोड़ा वही फील हो रहा है कि हमको भी क्लास होना, वो अभी नॉर्मल जैसा सोच जैसे इंक्लूजन. So one step we have to take. We have to organize one online class for them. At least.
Ma'am, my suggestion would be like we are having online classes for.
Okay.
But we can't organize for everyone. So
okay.
Where's the school where the child is?
Okay, ma'am. I have to approach. Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes. Who's that? Identify.
Ma'am, this is Sunita Sharma.
From?
Ma'am, I'm from Army Institute of Education, Greater Noida. Ma'am, I want to ask something that actually we have to, हमने education तक हमने बात कर ली specially able बच्चों के लिए, but मैम मुझे ये जानना था कि आफ्टर उनके लिए जो भी फ्यूचर में कोई इंस्टीट्यूट वगैरह होते हैं जहाँ पर कि मतलब हम उन्हें कोई स्पेशली स्किल वगैरह सिखा सकें उनके फ्यूचर के लिए, बेटर फ्यूचर के लिए.
क्या सिखा सके? सॉरी, क्या सिखा सके?
मैम उन्हें किसी भी स्किल में, किसी भी चीज में हम उन्हें अच्छा कर सकें ताकि वो अपने आप को एम्पावर कर सकें.
हाँ बच्चे, बहुत जगह पे वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग होती है. आप कहाँ पर है?
यस मैम.
आप कहाँ रहते हैं?
मैम मैं आगरा में रहती हूँ और मैं एक्चुअली अपने भाई के लिए जानना.
आप एक बार आइए, आप मुस्कान आके विजिट करिए दिल्ली में, और 1-2 जगह और भी हैं, हम सजेस्ट करेंगे आपको. आपको वहाँ से बहुत आइडिया मिल जाएगा कि कौन कौन सी स्किल्स में बच्चे को ट्रेन कर सकते हैं और कहाँ से कर सकते हैं.
ओके. थैंक यू मैम.
एक्शन फॉर ऑटिज्म, और आप मुस्कान विजिट करिए और आपको आइडियाज मिलेंगे. ठीक है?
ओके मैम.
We should end.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks everybody, and thanks my team for having organized the whole thing nicely and successfully.
Tomorrow at 10 morning.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for end the call for all. Okay. Thank you.
Just telling me something, Kanika?
Ma'am, I'm just saying I'm ending the call for everyone.